Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. Today, I managed to set up my YouTube as well. Welcome to today's Hotmom Live Conversations. Today's topic is titled Embracing the Real You. I want to ask, how many times have you in the past, advised yourself or advised someone else or even your children, by telling them, be yourself, be true to yourself, just be yourself. Maybe they are in a particular circumstance, we end up telling them, oh, just be yourself. But how do we even apply that statement to ourselves? We say it a lot to people, oh, just be yourself. But how true is that statement to ourselves?
This is a very interesting topic, and I don't even know where to start as far as the importance of it, because it is something that is very important for someone to be able to embrace themselves. And it's something that is easier said than done, and I can attest to that. But at the end of the day, as difficult as it might be, it's something that can be done. And I strongly believe that embracing oneself begins with being true to yourself. As long as you are not being true to yourself, there is no way you can get to that point where you say, I can now embrace myself. And what does it then mean to be true to yourself? It's knowing your flaws as your flaws, and knowing your strengths as your strengths, and embracing those flaws and not just leaving it there, but then making an effort to try and improve the areas that you can improve so that you can become a better version of yourself. And if it's something that you can't change, then finding peace with it. Because there are some things that we can't change, like maybe it can be like how you look. Maybe you don't like the shape of your eyes and you view it as a flaw. That's something you can't change, and it's something that you have to live with and accept and be at peace with. So that's just an example of some of the things that are involved in this conversation of embracing oneself. It's quite broad because some things are innate and you can't change them, and other things are maybe influenced by the social aspect of it, and those are things that we can easily control. So as we continue with this conversation, then we can unpack some of these things as we go.
Embracing yourself or embracing your real self means being able to know and accept yourself the way you are, and also being able to be truthful to yourself. That's what it means. Then, there are some strategies to help you, embrace yourself and also be able to showcase and love your true self. So, one of those strategies is, first of all, you have to identify what you like about yourself. There are so many people that don't even know what they like, and there are so many people that can't even tell about themselves. Also, the second strategy would be to identify what you love about yourself. So you have to make sure you know what you love about yourself. This is even harder to identify ourselves when we like what we like about ourselves, but trust me, it's possible. So you need to, be able to read yourself and know what you love. And that one will be identify where you are in life and what you want to be in life. Knowing the stage you are in your life and knowing where you want to go is also very important in embracing your real self. Also, just say no. Learning how to say no, makes it possible for you to know and do and behave and understand your real self. Then, most of us want to compare ourselves to others. So stop comparing yourself to others. There are so many things that others might have, you might not have. So many things that others will have that you have. So in order for you to embrace your real self, you need to stop comparing yourself with people, and instead, start focusing on the things that are, give you growth and positive changes in your life. That's another way to understand your real self. You have to also make good self-care activities a priority daily. So the way you practice your good self-care is something that you can do once in a week or once in a month as a reward for your hard work. So doing those activities that make you to self-care for yourself, making them a priority, is another way to embrace your real self. Then don't be the one that always compromise. Don't compromise always. Yes, it's good to make compromises. Is a good thing, but speak your thoughts and feelings openly, honestly, and assertively. So that will enable you to also embrace your real self. Believe in yourself. Practically saying, yes, I can. Yes, I believe. That was one of Obama's mantra. Nobody expected him to be the president of America, but he said, I believe, I can. And those words go a long way. Believing in yourself. Nobody can do for you. As he said in the last podcast, nobody can do anything for you. You have to take care of yourself. Nobody will come and help you. You have to save yourself first before people come and assist you. Then that's an attribute of also embracing yourself, a strategy. Expressing your thoughts and feeling openly. There's no need to filter your thoughts and feelings. It doesn't mean that you talk to people rudely or something, but being able to hold your grounds and express yourself and openly, is also a strategy to embrace yourself, real self. Then accept and embrace your imperfection. Nobody is perfect. I might be a good orator. I might be anything I can, but that doesn't make me perfect. So the ability to accept your inadequacies and imperfection and see how you can better it or live with it or manage it determines how you can embrace your real self.
There are certain reasons why certain people might not want to embrace who they truly are. So it's possible that there are those who feel like embracing their true self will be embarrassing, will be too embarrassing for them. So they will rather hold on to a certain kind of persona, a different kind of persona, so that they can be viewed in a better light out by people. Then there are also others who might just be afraid to embrace who they truly are. But I want to encourage you that, in my podcast, I always talk about you being yourself, finding yourself, try to figure out who you truly are. These are the things that interest me, and these are the things I talk about because I am real like that, So I want to say that if you've managed to find yourself, if you've managed to know who you are, but you are afraid or you are embarrassed, try to embrace that person. You never know. People who you are even worried about that you think might be looking at you, they are not even looking at you. Everybody is minding their own business. You will be surprised that even if there is a handful of people that are watching you or looking at you, they might even prefer you being yourself. They might even prefer that you have now become yourself. They will prefer that persona to the one that you were trying to be, which is not the original you. You were trying to be someone else, yeah? So, but if you've managed to know who you are, try to embrace it and never let go. Because you wouldn't be doing anybody good anyway. It's yourself. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody. And I don't know. We humans, we always it's something. We are human. That's why we are human. What did I say? We humans, yeah. That's why we are human. We're always feeling like, okay, people will perceive me this particular way. People will perceive me this other way. So I wouldn't want to. But it's always better. How do we begin the process of finding ourselves and accepting ourselves and becoming our authentic selves? Presido.
What you just mentioned, it brings a lot of memories, especially teenage years kind of situation where sometimes you feel embarrassed because of your background. Like if you are, when you're at school, and in my case, I went to a boarding school, and we were a whole bunch of students coming from different backgrounds. There were those that were coming from the village, and there were those that were coming from uptown. So the difference in the social backgrounds was quite eminent. You could clearly see that this one is coming from the village and that one is coming from the other part of town. So it was embarrassing for someone who comes from uptown to associate or to be associated by someone who is coming from the village. And the people from the village, they struggled to join those groups of people that were coming from the other side of town. And there was that group that was in between, that was not from the village, and that was not from the other side of town. So that is where we found a lot of people struggling with embracing who they were, because they didn't want to be associated by the people that were from the village, because they felt that they were inferior, if you can call it that. And they tried so hard to fit in the other group of people that was coming from uptown. But then, obviously, if you're coming from a different background, you'll have to overstretch yourself to be able to meet that standard. And I tell you, not embracing yourself is something that is so stressful because you're always trying to fake it. I know sometimes we say fake it until you make it, but in this life, it's not worth it. You are where you are at that point in life for a reason. And if you embrace yourself the way you are, it will be much easier for you to progress in life than to be fighting against yourself by not embracing yourself and pretending to be someone that you are not. There's no shame in coming from the village. We are all human at the end of the day. So I just thought I would make a comment on that aspect. And the question that you had asked, how do we embrace our authentic selves? For me, it still comes back to being true to yourself, being honest with oneself. Because like in the example that I just shared of a student who's coming from the village or from a different background from everybody else, if you're not content with the fact that that is where you come from, which is your truth, then it becomes difficult for you to be authentic in the things that you're going to be doing. You're going to start changing the way maybe you speak because you want your accent to sound like the other person that you're talking to. You're just putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. And once you embrace yourself and accept who you are, it doesn't matter what anybody else is going to tell you because you know what your truth is. For example, I know that I am short in height. That is my truth. And that is the authentic self. That is my authentic self. So if someone then comes and tells me that you are not tall enough, I'm not going to be offended because I already know that I am short. And if someone comes and tells me that you are tall, I'm not going to believe them because I know I'm short. And I have embraced myself the way I am. So it also comes to that aspect of how you view yourself. If you view yourself in a truthful light, it doesn't matter what everybody else says about you. Because at the end of the day, when all the drama is done, you are there by yourself and you want to be at peace with yourself. So if you're not being truthful to yourself, you're just going to give yourself a headache and a heartache because you still have to convince yourself at the end of the day that you still have to answer to yourself at the end of the day whether this is the true you or not. And the answer that you give to that will leave you either being at peace with yourself or still remaining in conflict with yourself.
What are some of the common challenges that people face when they are trying to embrace their true self?
Well, some of the challenges or strategies uh, you see is trying to understand your strengths, and embrace them. So it's a strategy, it's also a challenge. Another challenge is to the value you hold. What values do you hold? You need to explore your values to be able to overcome and put things in place to achieve those values. Another challenge is the external and internal influence. You have habits, you have behaviors, you have societal norms and conditions. Those are challenges and influences that can influence your, real self that you face. Then you have, your emotions too. Then your practical mindedness. If you can overcome that, that's a challenge, but you can overcome it. Then also, what is your support system? Is a challenge. If you don't have good people around you, you don't have a good support system. That's also, a hindrance to you to being your real self. Because somebody who is a hungry man is an angry man. But even if you want to be straightforward, be your authentic self, when hunger is biting you, then you have to find what to do. So building a support system is very good. That is a challenge, but that's part of the things why you get. Then also the courage, having the courage is a big challenge. Many people don't have the courage to stand out and do things. So that courage will help you allay your fears, face your fears, and you can, overcome that challenge. Then your daily actions towards what you do every day is a challenge. challenge. How do you do those things? How do you practice yourself, your mind to become, your real self is also a challenge. So those are some of the things that, give you challenges in life. But there are 4 things that can help you maintain your authenticity. I mean, being authentic, being the authentic self. You have to have, an impeccable, you have to be impeccable with your word. Whatever you say should stand, should be your bond. Your word is your bond. You have to be trustworthy. You have to be really down to earth. You have to be open, and that can define you to make sure you be authentic and be your real self. Then don't take anything personal, Be open to ideas. Accept what you can and what you cannot. You can't accept and you cannot please everybody. It's not possible to please everybody. When you strive to please everybody, you'll be in trouble. You have to have your own perspective of feedback. You have to also have the perspective of other people that work on the information to be able to make decisions, to be able to be your real self. Learn to say no and define your boundaries. Some people do not know their boundaries when it comes to things. Some people do not know where to say this is where the buck stops. So that is also a way to define and maintain your authentic and real self. Then the final one would be always do your best. As a human being, no matter what you do, there's a song in Nigeria, they say, if you be teacher, teach them well. If you be carpenter and well. So whatever you do in life, excel in it, put in your best, do your best, and you will excel. So I think those are some of the things that will make you be your authentic self. So I've defined the challenges for you based on the question that you posed to me. And I've also proposed the things that will make you to become your real self and overcome those challenges.
How can social media and societal pressures affect our ability to be our authentic selves? And what strategies can you propose to combat that situation?
In sociology, they will tell you socialization is part of the society, and also crime is a part and parcel of society. Without crime, there will be no development. Without crime, there will not be advancement of technologies. Without crime or vices, there will not be different things happening. So social media, as defined, is a platform whereby you can mass disseminate information at one time. So social media can be an interactive platform. It can be a regular platform that is just news communication. Social media can be through chats. It can be through video and all that. So all these things have influence on human behavior. So what people see and hear influence them more than what they read. So issues that are happening in society become, after a time, become a norm. And when something is a norm, that means it's accepted as a way of life. So for social media influence to you to become your real self is that it defines how the society wants you to be viewed or how they want to see you. And it's not an easy influence to do away with, because people want to be seen as successful. No one wants to be seen as a failure. No one is to be seen as struggling. So they create a perfect world in the social media where you see people who do not have what they are showcasing, even go as much as borrowing just to showcase, to look as if they have. So those things is because of societal pressure. And also in the terms of societal pressure, you have peer pressure, which means the people that surround you, people that stay with you, your group, your age mates, your workmates, your town people, those people can always influence you to behave in a certain way. When you don't behave in a certain way that they appreciate, they will now kick you out or ostracize you. So those influences are real. So you cannot do anything about that. Now it depends. It's all now bent on how you waive those influences. So one of those waiving of those influences to be being your real self. And the real self starts from your values. What is your values? If you're assuming you're crime prone, or you have a criminal intent, then they start showing you things on social media that's all point towards crime, and you develop interest in watching that. That's going to bring out your innate value to either commit crime or just look at it and learn from it and avoid crime. But Now, how do you even do that? It's not easy. So the best way is, first of all, to maintain your real values. That would be the first benchmark to start with. Also, the second step to mitigate it is thinking about the consequences of your actions. Each human being has innate spirit that tells them what to do. The perception that, for me as a person, as an individual, the perception that somebody tells you he does something bad and comes back and tells you it's devil that made me to do it, I do not abide by that, that kind of wisdom. I say because every human being has a thought and a spirit that tells him this is good or bad, and don't do, and we all know, based off of upbringing. Human beings are born, babies are born clean. They come into the world without knowing anything. They get to learn things by observation, by seeing what is happening around them. And that's why they advise people, train a child, when he's young, when he gets old, he won't depart. So social media has its own influence, positive and negative. So limitations of social media content, mitigating those contents and regulation through either the developers like Facebook is censoring whatever we say here. You cannot use their platform to do bigotry, or you cannot use their platform to say things that are discriminatory and all that. So the company is already doing their own part, and you, your own self, also who is using the social media, need to be careful about what you post in the social media. You need to censor what you post. There are things that are supposed to be private. There are things that are not supposed to be public. So you can't come to social media and say things that are not right, because you don't know where they don't know where the extent of the video will go to. So moderation in what you do, values in what you do, being cautious of how you take things that are on Facebook, because Facebook can also be modified. Videos can be modified. They can incite people and all that. So you have to be cautious of what you do. So as an individual who wants to avoid all these issues on an influence of social media, you have to be your real self and follow all the strategies we mentioned before. Be your authentic self, define yourself, do not compare yourself with others, always do your best, say the truth, know what is right, know where to set your boundaries, know how to say no. And those are some of the things that can help you, overcome and be your real self and overcome those challenges.
How can individuals deal with judgments or criticisms from others when they start embracing their true selves?
Okay, well, so criticism is someone either saying something to you, positive or negative, about yourself or about what you're doing or about the behavior attitude that you exhibit, or are discussing with you about some points. So those criticisms will be, how do you accept it? So one of the key principles of being, when you say someone is mature, someone is understanding, is the person's ability to accept other opinions. There are some people that they don't, if you don't take their opinion or you don't do what they want to be done, they don't see you, they start seeing you in a different light. So as an individual who wants to be your authentic self, who wants to embrace your real self, you should be able to open up to ideas, have a free mind to receive criticism. Somebody might tell you, you know what, when you talk too much. Sit back and ask yourself, do you talk too much? Do you say things out of the point that someone gets boring and he doesn't want to listen to you anymore? Can you change it? That's the learning call, because that might be stopping you from getting a lot of things. I've seen a lot of people who go for interviews. They ask them one question, just say the answer and go your way. They keep on talking for 15 minutes on that same topic. Everybody gets bored, and that's why they lose the job interview. At the end of the interview, they're asking in the panel, do we take this person? Everybody said, no, this person talks too much. I think he might even be spilling company secrets. But if you don't take that criticism, you can't learn and move forward. So the ability to accept what people say about you, going back to yourself and advise yourself, just like all of us, including me, you know your weak points, you know your best strengths, and you know when people say the truth to you, how do you perceive it? Be open to ideas. That's how you see why people are doing business for a long time. The same line of business, the same amount of money, but the one that has the information, the one that is open to like saying, okay, this idea is coming off, let me go to this. The person makes more progress than the other person because this other person is able to accept criticism. So criticism is a part of life. Two people cannot have the same opinion. People must have varying opinions. But the idea of you to filter those opinions, people can come to you with bad advice, people can come to you with good advice. To be your authentic self and embrace your real self, you have to be able to filter and accept criticism. So life is all about the give and take. It's all about compromise. So criticism comes, either it can be good or bad. But however it comes, your ability to stay positive and above board when you get criticism. If it's a good criticism, take it, refine it, and better yourself. If it's a bad criticism targeted at you for no just cause, analyze it and use it to do more to protect yourself from such criticism next time. But if it is for somebody to criticize you, somebody must criticize you, positive or negative. You might be living in a different world. Like I live in the US, someone else lives in Europe, someone else lives in Africa. We are all in the 3 zones. The person in Africa will be criticizing the person in America and say, hey, you guys have bad weather there, you guys have cold, I don't want to stay there. The person in America will be criticizing the person in Nigeria, you guys have insecurity, you guys have all these kind of vices, you guys, nobody's sure of going out and coming back home the same day. They say, oh, a lot of you in America, after all, there's always one issue or there or that in America. So everybody's criticizing. But the only thing is that for you guys to remain on the same court, what are you saying? You live in different localities and you operate in different environments. These are the opportunities that make this environment more preferable for each individual versus this individual. Some people, you can give them all the money in this world, they don't want to live abroad. They want to be home where they have peace, home where they are able to laugh every day. Not to say you're living abroad, but you cannot have peace. You're going out, you're watching over your shoulder because of one violence or the other, or you're always under pressure and all that. So life has different tones. So the ability for you to accept what you need, use those opportunities to better yourself, will make you a better self. That's why they say, if life brings lemon for you, use it and make lemonade. So that
add honey on it so that it will be sweet.
yeah, it will make you better. So those are some of the things that can make you, accept criticism and better yourself through criticism. I think that's what can make you also be your authentic self.
Okay, thank you for that once again. What advice do you have for parents and caregivers in fostering a supportive environment for children to embrace their true selves?
Well,
advice. I'm a parent, you're a parent.
Yeah.
Advice.
Yeah, so as a parent, you need to provide the two-way sword. That's what I call it, a two-way sword advice to your kids to create them, to enable them. So the two-way sword is, if you don't bath, as an example is, if you don't bath, you're going to smell. And when you smell, people are going to laugh at you. But if you bath, you're going to smell fresh, you're going to look decent, you're going to look clean. And people are going to, yeah. And people are going to, see you and admire you. So that's a two-way advice. So the person knows the consequence, because it's a simple thing of you telling somebody, don't do this, but you don't tell them the reason why they shouldn't do it. So for kids, they like to know why.
Why
are you asking me not to do this? And why should I also do this? And what benefits do I gain from it? So for foster people or caregivers for the kids, you serve as a role model to the child. If you are lying and you say somebody is sleeping in the house and they make a call and your child picks up the phone call and you tell the person I'm not around, tell the person I'm not around. What are you telling that child? You're telling that child to say not the truth. But the child can see, if you tell the child, say, tell the person I'm around, I'll give them a call back. The child knows, oh, daddy doesn't want to talk to this person, or mommy doesn't want to talk to this person, but he is, maybe because he's thought disposed. Then he can ask you later, why didn't you want to talk to that person? You say, I didn't want to talk to the person because either what I wanted to say to the person, I didn't have the information, or I wanted to research before I get back to the person. Though you wanted to, you don't want to talk to the person, but because a child is there, you have already, instilled in the person like, okay, I want to talk to this person, but I don't want to talk to this person. So now you can also explain to the child later and say, hey, I wanted to talk to that person, but this is the reason why I didn't want to talk to the person. This is the reason why I did what I want to do. So you serve as a role model. So creating the environment, you have to, for a child to grow, and be their real self is you have to make them understand the conditions that give them opportunity to get to what they want to be in life. Telling them the dangers ahead, because it's guidance that makes most people, to go, to be successful in life. You see, for some people, when you send your kids to public school, and some people send their kids to private schools, the kid that is sent to a private school enjoys luxury while being a kid, but comes out not knowing anything. The kid that goes to public school sees everything, knows the good, the bad, now sees the conditions of other kids in the wider society, and sees that life is not a fairy tale. Because the kid who is going to private school is chauffeured to school by his parents, giving lunch and all that. But the kids that come to public school, they don't come with lunch. Some of them don't even come with shoes. Some of them don't even have sandals. But if you go to the private school, it's mandatory. Your father must buy you sandals. So it's like fake life. But if you create an environment whereby the child understands the opportunities and understands the dangers, when you walk over, you drive on the road and you say, oh, this is a hoodlum, this is a homeless person. Do you want to be this person? If you keep on behaving the way you are behaving, you're going to turn up like this person. You're not showing them particular example. So in all, for them to embrace their real, you have to define for them the ideal situation, and also define to them the conditions to achieve that ideal situation. If you want to be a doctor tomorrow, or you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a hairdresser, you want to be a barber, you guide and tell them this is what you do, and these are the resources that you have. Because in places like Nigeria, which is our country, and other places, if you go through the routes of skill in every society, you definitely have something to feed yourself. But in our own parlance today, because of the way Africa is as a general, you go through school and everything, it does not guarantee that you're going to be successful in life, especially in our own home country right now. People who go to school, or people who go through education, are now serving people who didn't go to school. We have illiterates being our leaders, and it's an issue. So guidance and being there for being their research for the kids has to come from the adults or the caregivers, showing them guidance, showing them ways to do things, showing them, giving them pep talks, telling them consequences of their actions, and letting them understand that life is not a bed of roses and that life is real. That's why when kids are here, like in the US, children here, they make them do their own assignments, and they tell them, even if you get 0 of 100, try, let us see where you are, and they will improve for you. Not when they give you assignment to give for your child at home, you go ahead and do the assignment for the child. The child goes and has 5 over 5. The day they will do the national exam, where they are not there, the child will fail. So being a role model for your kids, the caregivers being a role model to the children, the teachers, everybody who is in the child's life, showcasing their real self, being authentic, being trustworthy, being able to say the truth, all determines how far you can create a good environment for the children and make them be their real self. So because children learn from observation, children learn from what you do, and that is the best way to make them be their real self.
Whoa. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll be running now. My time is up. It's 1 o'clock.
I have one.
So my break time is over.
Are you willing to?
Okay, ask me. I can take that one before I go.
Okay. What's that question? Okay, so the last question is, how can one balance the desire to be authentic? You want to be authentic, yeah? You want to be your real self. How can you balance it with the need for professional success or societal conformity?
Okay, so to be successful and be authentic and balance yourself, there are steps you need to take, rudimentary steps you need to take. One of those steps is what we discussed last time. You have to be self-disciplined. That's a key attribute. You have to have a plan. They say, if he who fails to plan, plans to fail. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a purpose in life. And you have to make sure that whatever you do, you understand the principles to what you're going to be doing. Being authentic self and being your real self is not as easy as it said. It's a very tough position. You have to pass through a lot of trainings. You have to be able to face prosecution. You have to be able to face backlashes. So your willpower is also key in being your real self. that enables you to go far in life in terms of success, in terms of professional development. The way you act, the way you behave, your mannerisms, your character, your sincerity, your timeliness to things and all that determines your real self. People taking you for who you are. Your word is your bond. When you say things, you don't say things just because you want to say it. Before you say things, you analyze it, you plan it, and make sure that before any word gets out of your mouth, you're sure of what you're saying. Don't take hearsay from people. Don't just make assumption because Ifechi has said it, that is what it is. No, verify. Do your own check. Do your own routine check before you say things. And that's part of the things that will make you successful, both professionally, balance your life, have a plan, do your life activities, do your work-life balance. All those things determine how far you go and how far you be your real self, both in the society and in your professional life. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Can I just add something quickly that the doctor was talking about earlier? You did mention something about embracing criticism.
Yeah.
And we have two kinds of criticism, like he alluded to. We have, I'll just use different words so that maybe people can remember it a bit more vividly. We have criticism that is constructive. So that is something that is aimed at building you or making you a better person. That kind of criticism, we should definitely take it, even if it means taking it with a pinch of salt, because that is what is going to help us to grow and become more authentic and embrace our own selves. And then the other flip side of it is what I would call toxic criticism. And that is the kind of criticism that comes from people who want to bring you down. And for me, I learned to embrace myself. I told myself that I'm not going to entertain anyone who is going to be saying anything that is toxic. If I see you're becoming toxic, I will simply block you. I will block you. I don't even hesitate to block people who are toxic.
Sanity.
Yeah, because my mental health depends on it. And we can't really tolerate people who are toxic if we're trying to become to embrace ourselves, because they are going to put us at a level that is beneath us, and that is not our true self.
Yes.
And we can't reach our full potential because of that kind of criticism. So we can't take that. And
Yes.
yeah, just allow me again to acknowledge the presence of Tafazwa Chimboza. He is my former schoolmate, and I can see he's watching the live. And I'm really surprised with my sister. my blood sister is watching this live. Thank you for joining us on this live. And I feel honored.
Thank you so much. Okay, so quickly,
Thanks for the
let me
support.
release Dr. Ifechi to take his leave. Yes.
Thank you, Doc, for the contributions. They were very valuable.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.
I'll talk to you after.
Yeah, I have seen some of my friends also in this call.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge Dr. Sam Ude. He's my senior colleague and my senior doctor in the profession.
Okay.
He was very, very helpful to me during my doctoral process. And I wish to say, Dr. Sam, you're welcome to our podcast. This is a podcast we do for every Tuesday, just life lessons. And, Ediri is the host, and she is the owner of this platform. I'm a co-host, and if you are also welcome to join us any day. If you want to participate in our discussions, we're able to bring you on board.
Yeah.
I see Udodri Mbembe. She's a sister, a friend, and she's joining us from Nigeria. Udo, you are welcome to the podcast. Though you joined late, but we're happy to have you here. I see Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson is my school son in secondary school, and he's my very good friend. He's a lawyer. He's also here in California, USA. So I think any other person I didn't acknowledge right now, you're also welcome to the podcast, and I hope to see you guys again next Tuesday. And I beg to take my leave. I have 1 hour just to hang in here with you guys, but I had to shoot it more than 7 more minutes, just to make sure that you guys have a good day.
Yes, please.
And thank you.
Tell them not to leave until the end.
No, they will stay on. We have our our co-guest speaker today. Madam, you're welcome, and I appreciate you and your input. And it was nice meeting you. And I hope we can see you more on our other podcasts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Doc. Have a good evening.
Okay, you too. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it has come down to just the two of us. Try to
Yeah.
speak on it. It's moving a lot. Your phone
Okay.
and your gadget. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a nice one, and we've done beyond 1 hour. I hope we'll be able to finish early enough. I don't usually want it to be too long for the viewers.
Yeah.
So my next question for you, I have a couple of questions for you too.
That's okay.
My next question for you is, I've asked you 2 questions or 3?
You had asked 2, I think.
2. Okay. Okay, so how can I don't think it's one. I don't know if I've made a mistake. Okay, let me
Well,
so what role?
while you're looking at the question, can I just welcome my daughter, Mercy Rono? She is watching from Kenya. Welcome, Mercy.
As in,
Yeah, from church.
oh wow.
Yeah.
I know your girls. That's what I was asking.
I have many now.
We now have so many adopted children anyway, so
Yeah. So thank you, Mercy, for watching.
Okay. Okay, let me ask this. What role does self-care play in the journey of embracing your real self? And what self-care practices do you recommend? For me, before, okay, when you finish, I can just add my contribution. Yes, let me allow you.
Okay. So for me, I strongly believe that the role of self-care in embracing your authentic self is that it allows you some time away from the noise that is around you, whether it's family issues, it's work, whatever is happening in the community, and take that time just to focus on yourself and ask yourself the different questions that you need to ask yourself to see where you stand and to just reflect on what you have done. And I find it easy, like when I'm in a relaxed space or when I feel relaxed. And some of the things that I like to do is to do like a skincare routine. If I can afford it, I can go to the spa and do maybe a facial or a full body massage. If I don't have the money, I have the stuff to do it at home. So I can just take time off whatever it is that I'm doing and I concentrate on giving myself a treat and help myself relax. And I also like listening to music. I find it very soothing. And the good thing that I've learned about music is that it doesn't matter what circumstance you're going through. There's always a song that can speak to you in a special way that will see you through, especially if you are going through like a difficult time. And even if you're celebrating something, there's a song that will elevate that feeling that you will have. And when you can relate with your feelings and be able to define how you're feeling about something, that also helps us to be more aware of ourselves and embrace ourselves, because we can now define what makes us happy, what makes us sad, what makes us angry, what makes us anything. So those are like doctor mentioned something about, in passing, he did mention something about emotions. They are a part of us, and we need to be able to know and understand what makes us feel what emotion, and be able to protect ourselves. That is also part of what self-care is about. We can't just allow people to cheat us anyhow. And if we don't know how those actions make us feel, then it becomes difficult for us to take care of ourselves and define who we are, which becomes our authentic self.
Thank you, Presido. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. I want to add also that for me, the role that self-care plays in my journey of embracing myself. For instance, you're seeing me embrace, right? Most people who know me know that I always simply just do my braids. I hardly wear wigs, especially these ones that look really artificial. I feel like it's not my thing to wear wigs. I don't. Maybe it's not because I don't look good in them. I had tried it in the past, but this is what I feel makes me authentic. This is me. So this is what I like to do. So it will be out of place for me to say, okay, because I want to do the live, so I should go and get some fancy wigs so that I can look a certain way. That's not me. Do you understand? So that's in terms of self-care, that's one aspect. Very surface level. Another one is I like to, before I start my lives, I like to do a bit of workout. It kind of puts me in the mood. So maybe going on inside of me when I do the workout. I feel like, okay, my endorphin level rises. I feel happy. I feel like more at alert. So I try to, but if it rains, I just do some push-ups, just do something to just still keep the body active before I come to my life. So that's another embrace. That is me. I love exercise. I don't do so much, but I just love to be in that space where I have to exercise from time to time. I love looking good and feeling good. President.
Yeah. No, we all do.
Yeah.
We all want, was if I don't feel good about myself, how then do I expect other people to make me feel good? Was I am the one who defines what makes me feel good and not the next person. And if I can't make myself feel good, how do I expect other people to make me feel good? And that is something that is quite critical, because a lot of people then try to find happiness in other people, but they don't have that happiness in themselves.
Yes.
That is not being authentic. You can't seek something from without that is not coming from within. Yeah.
True. Very true. Okay, my second to the last question for you would be, how can individuals deal with judgment? I think I asked the doctor that question as well, so I would love to hear from you. How can individuals deal with judgment or criticism from others when they start embracing their authentic selves?
That's a difficult one, because it's not an easy process, and it is quite challenging, because they're trying to move away from I'll call it a different level of maturity to a higher level of maturity, because it takes a lot of maturity to embrace yourself. Like we mentioned earlier, it's not just about the good things about yourself, it's also your flaws that you need to embrace.
Exactly.
And most of the times people find it difficult when they are now being criticized in their areas of weakness. It's kind of like then draws them back or pulls them down, which brings us back to that aspect where we were mentioning that there's constructive criticism and there is toxic criticism. So as a person, you then need to define whether that kind of criticism, is it constructive or is it toxic? And once you have decided where to place it, then you can decide either to accept it and work on it, or to leave it and disassociate yourself from that person and continue focusing on your journey to becoming your better self. That is by embracing your true self.
Okay, I take that. Okay, let me just ask the last one. The last question is, are there any books, do you know of any podcasts or resources that you can recommend for those who are looking to delve deeper into self-discovery and authenticity? When I started my lives, the very first live I did, I said something about being on the path to embracing my true identity. I'm on a journey. And for me, it doesn't matter if you have embraced yourself today as a certain kind of person. Tomorrow, you might change. I don't think it's a static thing. It's a journey. So you know who you are. Tomorrow, you might be in a different circumstance where you need to bring out a different part of you that is authentic as well. You bring that to the table, So I would like you to recommend, based on that, I would like you to recommend if any books or any podcasts or any resources for people who want to do a bit of self-discovery and to embrace their authenticity?
So I think two books come to mind, and the first book is by Michelle Obama, Becoming. So in that
Okay.
book, Michelle Obama, she shares the story of how she has like evolved as a person from childhood to the point that she became the first lady of the United States. So it's I found the story quite inspiring in the sense that there are so many things that she had to overcome to become the woman she became. And sometimes we look at our circumstances and we limit ourselves in our circumstances, and we stop exploring the options that are outside our circumstances. And Becoming, it tells you, or it I found it inspiring in the sense that it helps you to open up your mind and to think outside the box, and also to look at what you have around you and see what you can do with it to your benefit. And the other book that I would recommend is by Simeon Denk. It's called Start with Why. So in everything that you do, you need to know why you are doing it, because it is the why, the answer to that why, that is going to guide you in the things that you're going to do. And if you want to be authentic, and if you want to embrace yourself, you need to know why you're doing what you're doing and how it is going to um, help you to become the person that you want to be, or to achieve the goals that you have set yourself out to achieve. So those are the two books that I would recommend on this journey of embracing oneself.
Okay, do you have like a link to the online copy, the PDF copies?
No, I have the hard copies, but maybe if you go on Amazon or other places, you may be able to find the PDFs, and maybe, what do you call it?
I'll look after the live.
Yeah.
I will look for the PDF, and then I'll add the link to the comment section.
Yeah.
So that if they are checking, they can just click on it and go read it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think if you have anything else to add to the topic for the day, you may. Sorry, let me read comment. Hi, sis Lucia. So happy to see you and hear your voice, always coming up with a new hairstyle. She's a fast sister, you know.
Thank you, Sister Nancy. She's joining us. I'm not sure if she's in the main island. She is in Rodrigues. But thank you.
Rodrigues.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
Sister Robina, thank you also for watching this program. I appreciate the support you have given to our program.
I appreciate all of you that came in here because of my president. She was my president. She is my president. I can't stop calling her that. Thank you all for coming to join this live because of her. Please always join us every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 6 o'clock Nigeria time, West African time. That's when I hold this podcast. Whether Presido is here or not, please just call. If you have anything to add to the session, I can bring you on the live and you can add your contribution. I mean, we're all learning, so I will appreciate that. I've already embraced all of you as my own, just the way I embrace Presido as my sister. So please come here and write on that love. Yeah, so that's what I want to say to you. So
thank you very much.
Yes. I don't know if there's any other thing you need to add before I round off.
I think maybe the take-home message from our discussion today is that we all need to be at peace with ourselves. And I mentioned this earlier, and Doctor also mentioned the same thing, that embracing oneself starts with being true to yourself and being honest with yourself. You can't you cannot tell yourself lies and expect that you're going to be at peace with yourself. It's easy for me to lie to Ediri and tell her that I am living the life here in the UK, and I come to the live, I put on nice makeup, and but deep down I know I'm suffering. At the end of the day, I'm in my quiet corner and I'm busy crying because reality has caught up with me. So if we are being honest with ourselves, it makes it easier for us to be able to figure out a way to reach the goals that we're trying to reach. It was like in the example that I just gave, if I'm pretending to be living the life to Ediri and not actually focusing on fixing my problem, not taking time to think of how am I going to fix this problem so that I can make the money to live the life that I want to live. I'm just wasting my own time, and we can fool everybody else, but we can't fool ourselves at the end of the day. So being authentic is about being honest to yourself and telling yourself the truth about who you are and where you are in your journey in life. And we should not be discouraged, or we should not feel embarrassed with where we are in the journey, because each has their own story. I can't be where Ediri is because I don't know where she has been.
To get to where.
But I know, yeah, I know where I have been. And even if I'm not at the same stage as Ediri, I need to be at peace with the journey that I've been through so far and be proud of it and continue aiming high to becoming the person that I want to be. Each day that we get is an opportunity for us to better ourselves, and most importantly, to better the people that are around us. So let's start by being honest with ourselves and embracing who we are. That's the only way we can impact the people around us, or we can also be embraced by the people that are around us.
Wow, wow, wow. Presido, thank you so much for coming to do this with me on this live. I'm sure our viewers have heard us, and for those who are going to watch later, I'm sure they'll get the message as well. I want to add also that we are in a world where the world is trying to make us to be something else, something we are not. You know, there are a lot of things that are trying to influence us to be things that we are not. Yeah. So in midst of all this, if you're able to embrace yourself, you're able to know who you are and you hold on to it and you embrace that, it is a great achievement. It is a great achievement.
And there's this beautiful contribution that is coming from Shepherdess Nancy. She's saying the reality is that you can't live every life. You have to choose one, stick with it, and live it as best as you can. Ideally, the one you choose will emerge from your understanding of who you are in your own heart. And I like that part of your contribution, that it's an understanding of who you are in your own heart. It's not in anybody else's, but your own heart. What you love and value, where you come from and wish to go, when you want to accomplish the goals you set for yourselves, why you believe as you do, and how you want to spend the allocated and every finite amount of time you have given to live your life. That is a very good contribution. Thank you, Shepherdess, for adding that.
Thank you, Nancy Arkin. Yeah, she's a shepherdess.
Yeah, she's married to our pastor in Mauritius. No, they are serving in Rodrigues.
Okay, Rodrigues. She's the one in Rodrigues.
But they are from Mauritius, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, when you see her, my warm regards to her. In the meantime, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too for inviting us, and thank you everyone for joining us on the different platforms where we are coming through. We really appreciate taking your time to join us in this conversation. And we don't know it all, so if you have any contributions, please feel free to share them, and we can also learn from you. And we hope and trust that from the time that you have invested in watching this live, you have found something that you can relate to, that will help you embrace yourself in a better way than before you watched the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No better way to end this live than how you have just done it. So thank you. I'll see you behind the scene.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Facebook. Bye, Instagram. Bye, YouTube. Bye.